Uh, let me recapture what we have done last class. Okay. Recap last class. We saw how to create a table, how to drop a table. Then we talked about 3 different data types: number, date, and character. Then we also did insert into tables. We are inserting data to the table, one row at a time. Within insert also we saw how to insert values to all the columns, how to insert data into specific columns. And then we talked about select all records in a table. This we have seen the other day. This is the last class. This class we are going to see furthermore in terms of create statements, in terms of some of the attributes of the table, and some more options in which are called DML, data manipulation language. Okay. Remember, create, alter, drop. These are called data definition language, DDL. Okay. Create, alter, drop. These are all called DDL, data definition language, that we'll be seeing as the course proceeds. And today we are going to see some more in terms of DML, data manipulation language. Okay. Let me minimize this Notepad screen and we will continue from now on. Are we all ready? Please raise your hands. Good. I could see many hands raising over here. Okay, let us start this session today. The other day, we had a table called temp table. Let me see whether the table exists. Describe my table. Okay, I think that's what I have created the other day. Yeah, the table now exists on the system. Now I'm going to drop this table. I'm going to recreate this table. Okay, drop table, my table. Okay, now the table is gone. Now I'm going to recreate this table. We are going to introduce some more variations in table creations. Okay, the first variation that we are going to do today is, just watch. I create table, my table. Okay, this is the table name. Then I'm going to give the column names within brackets. Same way, employee ID. Okay, then I say number. This is going to be a number. Now I'm going to introduce a specific condition. Okay, we talked about uniqueness when we talked about the database concepts. Now I'm going to say employee ID is going to be unique within this table. To indicate that, we say primary key. Okay, we mention a keyword called primary key. Okay, that means that particular column can contain only unique values. Okay, and employee name. Now I'm going to say employee name. Previously we used a character. Now I'm going to use varchar. There's a data type called varchar. I'm going to say varchar of 30. I'll explain what it is. Please watch. And then designation, character of 3. Okay. Now I say date of joining is date. These 4 columns we create as we created previously. Now I finish that statement. Now it says table created. From the previous thing to now, the difference is I have introduced primary key over here, indicating that this is going to be unique. Instead of character, I said varchar of 30. Okay. Now, let us describe this table now. Describe my table. The moment you do that, when it lists the values, you could see something called not null. Okay. When we created something, a column with an attribute called primary key, right? We created with primary key, but it said not null. Not null meaning this cannot be empty. Null meaning the value in the column can be empty. The other class we saw how to create a row with an empty column. Now what we are doing is, right, we are creating something with not null. That means that cannot be empty. Okay. Now having created this, now just watch, I'm going to insert a value. When I try to insert a value, okay, insert into my table, I just want to enter values only for employee name. Okay. And I don't want to insert values for the other columns. I just give only that column name and say values. Within bracket I say Ramu. Okay. The moment I do that, it is giving me an error. Okay. It says, please watch the error message that it displays, right? I try to insert a value only to the column employee name. I did not supply a value for the column employee ID. The moment you say primary key, that particular column cannot be empty. It cannot have a null value. And now it says error cannot insert null into this table, this column. So a primary key, the important concept is primary key of a table must contain a value. It cannot have null. Null meaning empty. Now, okay, fine. Now let me insert a few values. Now I want to give values for all the columns. Insert into my table values. Employee ID I am giving 101. Employee name I give Naga. Employee designation I give VP. Okay. The employee date of joining I'm saying sys date. I'm just making it as current date. Okay. Now it says this value is fine. It says one row created. Now I am going to try to insert the same thing now. Okay. I am going to insert the same row with the value 101. Now watch. Okay. I am trying to insert the same record with the number employee ID being 101, and it is issuing me an error. Unique constraint violated. The important concept, second important concept about the primary key is already in the database, in that table, for that column, there is a value called 101. I am trying to insert another row with value 101. It does not accept. Whereas, let me try to execute the query in a different way. I am opening up the command. I am going to change only the employee ID and the designation, okay, but keeping the name same. Okay, now instead of 101, right, I'm saying 102. I'm keeping the same name, but I'm changing the designation, okay, GM, okay. Okay, now I close this. It asks me save this file. Yes. Okay. Now I am executing that query once again, right? Once I execute this query once again, right, just watch. It says the record is inserted. I didn't change the name. Now let me select all the records over here. Select start from my table. What you see here is there are two records available. One record is having 101 as the employee ID. When I try to insert another record with the same ID, it said no, you cannot insert that. That is the purpose of primary key. Do not allow duplicates. But I said only employee ID can be the primary key, but in employee name I use the same value, so it accepted because that is not a primary key. So two important things about the primary key. Number one, it cannot be null. Okay. Number two, it must have unique values in that. If you give duplicate values or if you pass null values, it will give error. Is this concept clear to you all about primary key? Can you please raise the hands? Great. That's very good. Okay. Now, the next concept that we are going to see here is this has two records, one with designation VP, one with designation GM. Okay. Now, in this, I talked about a field called varchar, and we have a field called character. Let me describe this table once again. Describe my table. If you look here, one field is varchar, another field is character. Let me show you the difference. I'm using a keyword now. Okay. Select. I want to get the length of a particular column, a value in the particular column. Okay. Now I'm saying select length of designation, okay, from my table. Okay. Length, okay, is a keyword. Okay. Now there are two records. For the first record, I know the value is only VP. There are no 3 characters in it. I know the value is only GM. There are no 3 characters in it. But when I say length, if I want to find out the length, okay. Now, when you use character as the data type and you say character of 3, whether you store 1 character or 3 characters, internally it stores 3 characters. The last one will be a space. Okay. So it allocates 3 bytes. Whether you store a value, whether you don't store a value, everything will be inside kept as 3 bytes. But now let us do the same thing with varchar. Okay. Select length of employee name. Okay. I need to give the column name. So length is a function, okay, built-in function. which is used to find out how many characters are stored in the particular column from my table. So I can use this length only for character or varchar fields. Now, though we have declared varchar, it internally termed it as varchar2. Previously, in olden versions of Oracle, there was a field called varchar. Nowadays, it has been replaced to varchar2. Okay. Again, this is a data type. This can store up to, I think, 4 kilobytes of data or something like that. Okay. Now, when you use a varchar data type, even though you have declared 30 bytes, internally it has given only 4. Rest of the bytes it is not storing. So varchar is an efficient way of storing the data. Here, though the field length is 30 characters, since I have given only 4 characters here, when I use the length, it says only 4. But the moment I use for a character field, it always gives me 3 because internally it is storing 3, right? Correct? In designation field, I have used 4 characters. VP as 3 instead of 2. In employee name, since we have given 30 characters, but internally only 4 characters are stored. For employee name, it is giving only 4 as the actual length of it. But I want to get the exact length of even the character fields in a table. If you want to do that, we need to use 2 functions because this has already some spaces in it. So what I need to do is I have to trim it. Trimming meaning discount the spaces which are in the leading side, on the front side, or in the back side. Now, if I want to get exact length of this designation field, all I need to do is select length of, but you don't give length of the direct column called a designation. Now you have to say trim. Okay, there's a command called trim of the field called designation. Okay, from my table. If you do that, look at this. Now it is saying 2. In 2 rows, I have got VP and GM. The moment you trim, even the trailing space is not counted. So it is showing only the characters that are available in which are already stored in that particular field. So if you want to get the exact length, you have to better trim and then get the length. Okay. Then someone is asking about, is this Notepad where you are typing all these commands? Is it SQL software? Yes. If you use ED for edit the last command, it will automatically open Notepad. Okay. So the moment from this place I type ED, right, it will open up a Notepad editor, and in this you can type the SQL query and then close. To execute the last command, you have to use slash. Okay, right. Now what I am going to, someone is asking, in case of character there are blank spaces, but why not in varchar2? That is what Oracle has implemented. Okay. In character, always spaces included at the end, whereas in terms of var character, it allocates space only for the characters you have used. So that is the difference between char and varchar. Olden way of representing is varchar. Currently, all the versions go to varchar2. Varchar2 has a longer storage capacity. Okay. Now, is this clear to you all? The difference between char and varchar and length trimming. Good. Okay. Great. Now let us move on to the next thing. The next concept that we are going to see, let me insert a few more commands, records into this particular table. Now I want to have a specific data. I want to retrieve only specific data. Let me insert one more record into this. Insert into my table values. I'm inserting 501 Jones, and then designation is VP, then sysdate. Okay. Now there are 3 records available. Select star from my table. Now it shows there are 3 records available in this. In the first class, we talked about filtering, sorting, right? Now these employee names are stored like this. The employee ID is like this. When I say select, by default it is sorting based on the employee ID. Now I want this set of rows to be displayed in the reverse order or in the descending order of employee ID. Right now this is showing in the ascending order of the employee ID. Now I want them into the descending order of employee ID. This is called sorting. If I want to show that, it's very simple. We can say select star from my table. If you want to sort by any value, you simply say order by. Okay. Order by EMP ID. If you don't specify anything, then it will always be ascending. Now I want to say order by this column in descending mode, DESC. Okay. If you say DESC, right, then it is going to simply show all the records in the descending order. Previously it showed 101, 102, 501. Now it says descending order 501, 102, 101. Okay. So it is going to be a very simple order by, and it shows in that particular sorting order. In Excel or a spreadsheet also we have sort data. Sorting of data is one of the important database concepts, correct? Right. And a few people have already started asking questions. Again, in the webinars, allow us to first take 20 to 30 minutes. And I know there are certain people who know some amount of Oracle. Questions which are not pertaining to this class are shooting up. So please refrain from shooting questions which are not pertaining to this class. Okay. The concepts will be covered in the 10 classes, but let us not jump from topic to topic. There are a lot of people who are attending Open Mentors free webinars. So let us go step by step and allow us to first take the class for some time. Then we can shoot last 15 minutes. We shoot only for questions. Hope you understand our part. Okay. Now I want to sort based on employee. You can sort based on any column. It's as simple as that. Okay. So it's not that I want to sort based on ascending order of designation. Again, the command will be select star from my table, order by, instead of employee ID. Now I'm saying designation, order by designation. I want to say, if you want to very specifically say ascending, right? The moment you do that, you can see the GM record appears first, then VP comes next. So it is sorting based on the designation column. So sorting is one of the important aspects of every database. You can sort by any column based on ascending or descending orders. Is this clear? Sorting based on ascending and descending on any column. Can you please raise the hands if so? Great.